I need to share something that's been weighing heavily on me. My name is Ethan. My ex-wife, Sarah, and I had been married for 3 years. We were the perfect couple, or so I thought. We had our ups and downs, but who doesn't? One day, I discovered she was cheating on me with a guy named Mark. It started with small things: late nights at work, unexplained absences, and secretive phone calls. I tried to ignore it, convincing myself that I was just being paranoid. But one evening, I found a message on her phone from Mark that left no room for doubt. It was intimate and explicit. My heart sank, and I felt a wave of nausea. I confronted her that night, and she admitted everything with tears streaming down her face. She claimed it had been a mistake and begged for forgiveness. But the trust was broken. The divorce was brutal. I lost everything: our house, most of our savings, and even my job. My performance at work plummeted as I sank into depression, and eventually, they let me go. Years passed, and I finally managed to get my life back on track. I found a stable new job at a great company, and my boss, John, was a genuinely good person. He was supportive, kind, and always looked out for his employees. For the first time in years, I felt happy and secure. John was more than just a boss. He became a mentor and a friend. He would often invite me out for dinner, and his kindness helped me rebuild my shattered self-esteem. Then came the company dinner. As we chatted over drinks, I mentioned my past, and John looked shocked. He told me that his wife, Sarah, had also been married to a guy named Mark. He showed me a photo of Sarah, and my blood ran cold. I realized John was talking about my ex-wife. That night, I spiraled back into depression. The thought that my ex-wife had managed to wreck my life twice was too much to bear. I couldn't sleep, and the memories of our painful past came rushing back. The next day, I went to John's office to quit my job. I explained everything, and John listened patiently. After I finished, he looked at me with a mix of understanding and pity. "Sit down," he said. "We need to talk." John told me that he had suspicions Sarah was cheating on him with someone else. He had seen the signs: the secretive phone calls, the late nights, and the same anxious behavior I'd witnessed years ago. He shared that he'd been finding unfamiliar charges on their credit card statements, and that Sarah's explanations were always vague. He asked if I would help him find out the truth. Reluctantly, I agreed. We started digging into Sarah's activities. We began with her phone records and social media accounts, noting down patterns and inconsistencies. John hired a private investigator to follow her. After a few days, the PI reported back with photos of Sarah meeting a man at a hotel. The man was Mark. It felt like a punch to the gut, seeing history repeat itself. John and I confronted Sarah together. We waited for her one evening after she returned from one of her business trips. When she walked in and saw both of us sitting in the living room, her face went pale. She broke down, admitting everything. She said she was deeply sorry, but the damage was done. After the confrontation, John and I sat down and talked for hours. We bonded over our shared experience and found solace in each other's company. It was strange, but the situation brought us closer together. We both realized that Sarah was the problem, not us. In the end, John and I decided to move on with our lives, supporting each other as friends and colleagues. But as we were sorting through the aftermath, we found something shocking. In Sarah's emails, we discovered she had been part of a bigger scheme. She was involved in a complex web of affairs and manipulations, using her relationships for financial gain. Mark wasn't just a lover, he was a partner in her schemes, helping her exploit men for money. There were emails detailing how they planned to move assets, manipulate emotions, and ultimately strip their partners of everything valuable. Realizing this, John and I turned all the evidence over to the authorities. We provided detailed statements, phone records, and the PI's photographs. Sarah and Mark were arrested for fraud and conspiracy. Watching them taken away in handcuffs, John and I felt a strange sense of justice. Sometimes, life throws you curveballs, but it's how you handle them that defines you. Out of the worst situations, something good can emerge. John and I not only survived Sarah's betrayal, but we also found friendship and a renewed sense of purpose. We decided to start a support group for others who had been victims of similar schemes, hoping to turn our pain into something positive. What do you think? Life can be unpredictable, but sometimes, out of the darkest moments, a new light can shine.